I'm Sandy, 28 years old. My husband, Morgan, and I got married after a long-distance office romance. We met when he was in charge of training recruits. I had just moved to a new city and had no idea what I was doing at my job. He kindly and patiently trained me. I think it didn't take me long to fey him. When the training was over and I had most of the work done, I invited him out to thank him for all the help he had given me. After that, we continued to see each other several times outside of work and eventually confessed my feelings to her. We were both around an age where we were thinking about getting married. So, years after we started dating, we met each other's families. We had a smooth sailing into our marriage that one of the common issues in marriage is the relationship with in-laws. I haven't encountered such problems yet. My in-laws have been very good to me.
We are so glad to have you as a daughter-in-law. You are too good for my son, 33.
I agree. I envy my son to have such a beautiful lady for a wife.
Ah, you guys are so sweet. Thank you.
When Noah and I occasionally visit, give me such compliments and make me loved. I may be simple-minded, but I don't about being praised. If you force me to come up with a word, it would be home. Right now, we live in a rented apartment. If we are to start a family, it will be small.
I suppose we could move when we have, but after the baby is born, things will get a little hectic.
I agree. I think it's a good idea house beforehand.
Now, isn't that a little too early?
You think so? You said you dreamed of gardening in your yard, right? I'd rather have a house than an apartment. It's a good opportunity for us.
We both work, so if we don't splurge on something expensive, we can probably get a loan for a reasonable amount. Now that he mentions it, a new house, certainly nice. Once I get an idea, I start visiting estate agents with Morgan on weekends. My parents are very supportive of this and are helping us find a house and advice on mortgage and property costs. One day, we are asked to come to my house for a talk. We head out, wondering what it's all about. There, I find my grandfather. He's been living alone since his wife passed away a few years ago. Because of his age, my parents have been asking him to move in with them, but he hasn't accepted the offer yet. I do know what his true motive is, but he may not want to let go of the house with memories of my late grandmother.
I heard that you are looking for,
Yeah, but we haven't been able to one that fits our criteria.
if you want, you can use the land left and build a house on it. You don't have to pay for the land. Can put the money toward the house.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, I'm sure. I'd be happy to let you use it.
Thank you, Grandpa.
He's not a rich man. It's just that his family has been in this area for generations and owns a lot of land here. He has offered us one of the lots in his name. On top of it, my parents have proposed to cover part of the construction cost. Our plan is turning into reality. Over the next few weeks, we discuss specifics with the contractor. Then I received a call from my mother one day.
I heard that you're building your own HE.
Oh, yes. My grandfather's letting his land. 39.
Oh, I see. If you're building a new, don't we live together?
You mean you, Jacob, and us?
Listen, our house is getting old. If we want to keep living here, it's going to require a major renovation. We've been thinking about what to do, but if you guys are going to build, we can kill two birds with one stone. Now we won't have to pay for the rerun.
What on earth is she thinking? It's true that their house is getting a bit old, but they are planning to renovate it soon. But it's not like the house is dilapidated and needs to be torn down right now. Above all, don't understand why they want to move in with us. As I am stunned by this unexpected turn of events, Morgan, who has been sitting next to me, takes the phone.
Hey Mom, what are you talking about in together all of a sudden? What we're thinking of right now is for us as a family. 33.
What? You're saying we aren't family?
No, no one is saying that. 33.
Even if we move in together, it doesn't mean that we expect you to take care of us. It's rather the opposite. You are BC working, right? If I'm there, I can reduce the burden of housework a lot.
That may be true, but
And you're our eldest son. Soon or later, you'll have to take Kate. It's normal, isn't it? Then, when you're building a home, you should think about living together, right?
Adele has been good to me up to now. I honestly don't like her idea, but too harsh on her. Morgan, who is the last resort, has a strong sense of responsibility. He seems to be completely taken in. In the end,
I'm sorry. I should have said no. I meant I shouldn't have told my mom in the first place.
No, it's not your fault. Besides, she agreed to pay the rest costs. 33.
we agreed with her when she promised to pay half of the construction costs out of the proceeds from the sale of the house. Reluctantly, I didn't expect it to happen so soon. Morgan has told me before that when they reach an age where their health becomes a concern, they're thinking about living in a retirement community. When it happens, I thought I would jay it quietly. It's too soon and so sudden. But now I've agreed to it. Can't go back saying I changed my mind. If she really helps me with the housework, it will certainly lighten my load. Maybe it's not all bad. It's a shame that I'll have less per with Morgan, but I try my best to. There are some advantages to living together. I have no choice but to do so.
I'd like it to be all electric. We will install a solar power generator. A dishwasher is essential in the kitchen. I want a jacuzzi in the backyard.
From then on, Adele was inundated with more requests than she could have ever imagined. She even changed the floor plan and facilities, so the price exceeded our budget by a large margin. Now that the house is ready, she's paid us the money she had promised.
Well, Adele, we have to pay the consequences. What's going on with your promise?
Oh, that. It seems that they are late transferring the money for the sale house. Can you pay for it first?
No way, I can't do that. That's not possible.
What do you mean? You are both making money, so you have plenty, don't you?
I had Morgan urge her several times to pay the money, but my in-laws never paid up. I ended up having to beg my parents' loan. My in-laws promised to cover the shush construction costs, so we didn't take out a mortgage. Even though we both have been working hard, we haven't been able to save that much in such a short time. There was no way to cover for mine easily as Adele thought. We promised my parents that we would return as soon as our in-laws paid us.
Wow, it turned out better than I thought it would. Don't you think so?
I do.
The in-laws looked at the completed house from the outside and were very pleased with it. As soon as they get a set of keys, in right away. Jacob, who has somewhat more common sense than Adele, seems to have some thoughtful matter on his mind, but he is too meek to say anything about it. Adele invites her friends to her house every day, as she is the owner.
What do you think? Isn't it amazing? It may be a little cramped for two, but it has a big yard. I'm thinking of starting a vegetable garden here. Isn't it nice?
She boasts to her friends. While we've been busy with work, we get everything ready for the move. By the time we finally move into our home, it's already been set up in here. I've been imagining in my head how to decorate each room, but her furniture has already been placed as if it's a main factor. The yard, which I've planned to use hobby, has also been converted into vegetable garden by her. She's doing whatever she pleases, He hasn't paid me the money after 3. On top of it all, she dares to tell me something outrageous. I knew she was an insane person, but she doesn't ask but tells us that my sister-in-law, Janice, who is now a single mother, will move in with us.
What on earth are you talking about? I've never been consulted.
Shut up. I want to live with my grandparents, so you get out of this house.
What the hell? This is our house why should we leave?
You two are working, right? Then it's easier for you to do what you want. She was a struggling single mother with children.
That has nothing to do with us.
Give me a break. It's supposed to be our home. My in-laws forced their way into our home and told us to leave because we were getting in the way. There's no way they get away with this. Even Morgan is furious at the selfish. A family meeting is held, including his sister, who has returned to the family.
Dad, please put some sense into Mom. This is crazy.
Well, I don't know what to say. It's her decision. 33.
He is wrapped around by her little finger, with no intention of helping his own cause.
There's no point in blaming Dad. It means that it's not such a big deal, right? You guys don't have kids. You can still do whatever you want to leave this house.
Janice, too, tries to kick us out for reasons. As for Adele, I don't know what's up with her, but she's been grinning at us. I'm not pleased with it at all, so my family is not happy about it either. My grandfather is even angrier than...
What a bunch of jerks. I allowed the land.
When he learns what's been going on, I propose we take action. After much discussion with him, and of course, Morgan, we've decides ahead with the plan. 3 weeks later, we are ready to it. We're taking advantage of the opportunity while Janice and her children, who had already left earlier, went on a day trip with my family.
So, do you want me to move everything into your new place?
Yes, every single thing, please.
I instruct the movers to remove all of my in-laws' belongings, including ours. A short time after 2 trucks with belongings left, my in-laws returned in good spirits. As Morgan and I were waiting in the living room, we noticed something and came running out in a panic.
What's going on? What happened to stuff?
They were in our way, so while you enjoyed your outing, we asked a maid to remove them.
How selfish of you.
While I fend off Adele, Janice was, Morgan.
Not only are my things gone, but all my kids' stuff too. What do you gain from doing this?
Oh, we've decided to rent the house. 3 new tenants will be moving in next week.
You never mentioned anything about being crazy.
This is terrible. We live here. How can you make such an important decision without asking us?
They protest vehemently when they our plan. We have a thing or two to remind them.
Who do you think you are? It was you who decided to let your and her kids move in without asking.
Well, that's true, but you've been acting like you own the place.
On top of it, you're trying to kick.
Then Morgan joined in.
You haven't paid a penny for this, Mom. What happened to the money you prom? You weren't going to pay for it anyway, were you?
No, that's not true. It's the agent who didn't transfer the money.
The land here is in my grandfather. We don't need your consent to rent. The same goes for Janice, who moved.
Adele looks shaken and pale, while looks angry and red. Their reactions are similar, as you expect from a mother and daughter, though the colors are different.
Your things are in a rental storage, so you take care of the rest yourselves.
Oh, no.
Morgan tells them coldly, and the TV in anguish. What goes around comes around. My parents-in-law, Janice, and her husband haven't got enough money in my small apartment together. 3 adults and 2 children in a 2-bedroom space. It's no brainer that their lives have been downgraded. They're supposedly living a life that you feel fed up just imagining it. I hear that Adele and Janice blame Ia and argue every day. We have cut all contact with them. I didn't realize who they truly were after we got married. It's probably a good thing that we them off sooner than later. We are back living in a rented apartment. The rent on the house is coming in thanks to my considerate guests.
You have a lot of things coming up, don't you? Use it for your future.
I really appreciate his offer. We are now living in a space-based era before. I have no complaints about my current job, but if we have a baby, in the future, I would like to live in our own house again. Of course, it will be just us.